The project I would like to propose is training teams for Pencils of Promise schools. After reading this book and reading about this humanitarian group, the For Purpose group, which I loved his description of working to build schools across the globe in high-need communities that already show a desire to do something alongside an organization that aren't standing there with their hands out. I believe that Pencils of Promise, because they are a well-run organization, by partnering with them, we could double the impact on literacy. Pencils of Promise already has the infrastructure and track record for success in identifying communities and donors. It expanded its goal to send teachers to school sites, and for a limited time, they'll send a teacher to work with a local teacher. I would like to expand on that. Here in the United States, we even know that having quality teachers is difficult to do, even more so in communities that Pencils of Promise are building schools in. So I believe that by partnering with PhD and Masters of Education students, Pencils of Promise could expand their impact with quality education. I've long wanted to teach in another country, and Africa has always been on my heart, but so has places like Guatemala. And so as I was reading this book and thinking, how could I get to be a part of something like that, it occurred to me that what always kept me from doing that was, of course, raising the funds in order to do it. But why not partner with people who already know how to raise funds? And so what I'm proposing is a partnership between Texas Tech College of Education students and Pencils of Promise, and it would be a win-win on both sides. So what I would do is have this project identify Masters of Education and doctoral students that Texas Tech would agree in exchange for 1 semester of time on the ground in a pop school researching literacy and numeracy. Texas Tech would take away a semester worth of tuition, so it would be tuition forgiveness on the Texas Tech side. The community or POP would provide housing in country for the candidates while they spend a semester working with local POP teachers, identifying individuals to become trainer of trainers. So a master's student or a doctoral student would go, say, to Guatemala, and they would stay in a community, and they would train the teacher in that community to become a trainer of trainers. We could bring the latest research of closing gaps in literacy and numeracy to that teacher, and we have a semester in order to do that, and perhaps even travel to satellite schools in the region, because Pencils of Promise has hubs of schools that they are building in several countries. And by doing this, they could expand the impact of one doctoral or master's student who could, in the meantime, be gathering research on how to close gaps for students in high poverty situations, perhaps research ways to get materials into these countries, research ways to get materials in their home languages, or identify authors and record stories, those kinds of things. So it could be a win-win on both sides. POP schools get trained teachers, which in turn helps the community, and Texas Tech gets research on the ground, and the student gets tuition forgiveness, plus amazing experience. One of the things that privileged America does not realize is how many students across the globe don't even go to first grade. I think it's staggering that there are millions of children who don't ever get to learn their ABCs and how to write their name. 2 out of 5 children seems like it's ridiculous in this day and age that there would be that many children not in school. And so this is one of the things that Pencils of Promise is working to eradicate, one community at a time, and they're doing amazing work to do that. The process that went through my mind at the close of just being so excited about the work that Pencils of Promise was doing and building schools and reaching out to communities was how do they find enough teachers to work in those schools? How do they convince them to do that? And of course, the way is to grow your own, to have teachers from the community who speak the language, who care about their community, who want to make a difference for their students. I have a very good friend who lives in South Africa, and teacher quality is a huge issue. Things have changed at the end of apartheid. The access to university education is limited by funds and by having a quality secondary education. And so these are things that have to be fixed a little at a time. Pencils of Promise can build all kinds of schools, but you still have to have a teacher and you still have to have materials to make that work. And so my project would be helping a semester at a time grow those teachers so that those schools can be successful, because the building itself is not enough to meet the needs of the poor and the illiterate across the world. So for a very little cost in comparison to what it costs to put a teacher in a classroom in the United States, a Texas Tech candidate, master's or a doctoral student in education, goes and trains a teacher at a Pencils of Promise school. And then perhaps in that semester they're able to train 4 more in the region if there's that many schools. And of course, choosing which schools, Pencils of Promise schools, that you would support first would be based on those that you could hit regionally and expand, or even train a trainer of trainers for a larger region where there are more schools. But if you think about these supported schools, then you're starting to push into and make a region strong, not just one community strong. I loved this saying by Nelson Mandela, because poverty isn't an accident and people don't choose poverty. It is choices that are made by powers beyond the people who are impacted by that. I think it's something to be considered, that if the power is within us, if we are gifted with the opportunities that we are here in the United States and as students of Texas Tech, wouldn't it be just a small thing to spend a semester helping other teachers become quality teachers? And think about the impact. It's like that poem about the starfish. Yes, there's millions of students who cannot read and write, communities that do not have schools, but where we are starting to shine the light and build schools and give those people an opportunity that has been closed to them because of choices not theirs. Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing to be the man on the beach who's throwing a starfish back into the water? We can't save them all, but we can save a few. And if at a community and a teacher and a school at a time, we're giving them the tools that they need to pull themselves out of poverty and to give them opportunities, who knows the kinds of things, the peace that we can bring and the opportunity that we could help bring by partnering and doing something bigger than ourselves.